Now, when it comes to actually issuing the attack through social engineering in the pen test, one of the best places to start off with is just simply through email and asking for information, such as their usernames or passwords, or even pretending to be a network administrator and asking them to reset their password to a password that you've specified. Now, if the user responds with the information you need, obviously you're going to want to, yes, document that. Another type of email that we could send would be one that includes some malicious attachments associated to it. Maybe I attach spyware that I've created with my nifty little spyware creation toolkit in my utility belt. And I can use services such as Read Notify to notify me when someone's opened the email and the attachment. Again, we're going to document if somebody opens that attachment. Now, if they don't respond to these two types of attacks, I'll try something a little different. Maybe I'll send them a phishing email. Again, my attempt to scare them into giving them information. Hey, it's your bank or your credit card company that needs you to click on this link. Now, some people might resist the urge on their desktop environment, but there's another platform that we can actually attack. It's interesting. Recently, we're starting to see more and more phishing attacks being successful on mobile devices because we're in a hurry. We're, answering a Facebook posting. We're tweeting something. Oh, here comes an email from my bank. I better respond to that real quick. Users have this tendency of not slowing down. Again, we're going to make a note of which employees responded to this type of attack. Some other types of attacks can include, I guess it would be a pseudo electronic physical, because I'm going to use a phone. I might call the target and I'm going to pretend like I'm someone really important within their organization. Most people don't know or don't communicate vocally with executives of the company. Or better yet, I could actually call and pretend like I'm one of the peers within their organization and I need some information. Or maybe I'll actually pretend again that I'm somebody from technical support and I'm trying to get a record of all the employees and their system information, how often they're using their digital devices. And so therefore I need some information about them as well as their systems to make sure it meets up with our database. Hey, and I can also go through and maybe try to, use one of our social engineering techniques that involves greed. I can offer somebody reward for exchange of some of their information. Or how about this one? Send out an email to everybody saying, hey, everybody, first 10 people that fills out the following questionnaire gets 2 tickets to the movie theater tonight. Or better yet, how about if I use some reverse social engineering so that the user gives me information themselves? If you're not familiar with reverse social engineering, go back and watch our video series on that subject. But to give you the 10,000-foot view of this particular type of attack, it's simply making a statement or a question that forces the user or the target to respond, and their response contains the information you're looking for. You can also try to use threats or the concept of consequences. For example, listen, if I don't get this information, the company's going to suffer a financial loss, and I don't think that's something you want to be responsible for, is it? Or the classic that we see all the time, especially through emails, your account's about to be disabled unless you give us this information. Or better yet, we've detected that your account may have been hacked, so you need to change your password. Click here. Same concepts, just different types of medium. Again, either physical or electronic. Now, if I still haven't gotten the information I need, some of the other techniques I could try to use is to go to the company and pose as a technician or an auditor. I'm always amazed when I go teaching for Microsoft products. I have shirts that I wear that say Microsoft on them. And I actually end up walking past places that I shouldn't be walking past because everybody just thinks that, hey, I'm from Microsoft, I'm there to help them out. Or I may be there on a project. You can also try a technique called tailgating. No, that's not where you fire up the grill, and it's not what happens on the freeway. Tailgating is where we follow somebody in using their credentials. My favorite tailgating story is I tailgated at Department of Homeland Security. I didn't get very far. I got through the first man trap, but got stuck at the second one. I'd forgotten my coat, and it was in Chicago. Very, very cold. I needed to get inside for a training session that I was doing there for Microsoft. I saw a lady walking up. She swiped her badge, and I, as a gentleman, opened up the door for her. She walked in. I walked in behind her. We got through the second door. And that's about where that story ends, because I got into the lobby there, and the guards started asking me, how did I get in? I'm probably on a watch list somewhere, right? Another technique that we can also use is just simply eavesdropping. Come on, you've all done it. Listen in on people's conversations. My favorite is when I try to order something over the phone and and the salesperson on the other end says, "What's your credit card number?" Before I start talking into the phone, again, I look around or I say, "Excuse me for a second, go find someplace private." Do me a favor, don't do that on a city bus or on a subway system. But this also would apply to shoulder surfing, another great form of social engineering. In fact, when I'm out in the field working on certain projects, I've actually been complimented on this. I'll be working and I'll need higher end access and it requires a password, and I'll talk to the IT guy and I'll say, "Hey, I need your password." He'll come over and type it in, and before he types it in, I always turn my back. And I make sure they see that I'm turning my back so that they understand that I don't want to know and I don't want to be accused of knowing someone's password. So after you've done that, now believe it or not, there's actually some software out there that can help you. But on your Kali Linux box or the Kali Linux distribution, there's actually under the exploitation tools a neat little thing called the Social Engineering Toolkit, also known as SET. You should actually play around with this one. It's really quite amazing because it'll actually help you create several different scenarios for yourself. And I'm sure there's other tools out there that you might be familiar with. Do me a favor, share some of the tools that you might be using for social engineering in the discussion forum. Yes, I actually do monitor those threads.